Did everybody hear that on oWOW? I'm Ravenna Miceli. I have guests in the studio and I'm super excited because they brought a kick drum. It's the Cerny Brothers. Hey guys, how are you?
Hello.
Bob with the big voice. It's Bob and Scott Cerny, and you're a Nashville-based band right now. But
Yep, that's right.
you grew up in Illinois, rural Illinois, and you're here in Cleveland because you are, am I right, the first band signed to the Cleveland International record label that's now been relaunched, and you're here for a concert tomorrow night at the Beachland. You can do a couple of acoustic tunes here in the oWOW studios, and I'm super psyched to have you here. I love the album, Looking for the Good Land.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, you're so soft-spoken, but you have that big voice, Bob. When you sing, how does that happen?
Well, it's earlier in the morning, so you know
Oh.
we're a little bit more tame.
Subdued right now. That's pretty funny. And Steve Popovich Jr. is here, and I've known you since you were a teenager.
We won't tell.
And his dad started Cleveland International Records, a dear friend of my husband's, John Gorman, and mine. And Steve has passed, but you have relaunched his legacy, which I just think is amazing. Get over on the mic and tell the story, Steve. Junior, he doesn't like to be called Junior.
Hey there, hey there.
Hey, man.
It's good to be home, by the way. It's good to be back in Cleveland.
Yeah, so, you know, Steve Popovich was in Cleveland for many, many years, and then he maintained the home base here, but also in Nashville, and you followed your dad to Nashville, and then sadly he passed, but he was a huge influence in rock and roll. I'm just going to name two names, Meatloaf and Michael Jackson. Let me both sides.
Say no
I
more.
know.
And everything in between.
Everything in between. He was just an amazing guy and a wonderful, down-to-earth, heartland kind of guy.
No doubt about it.
And you're a chip off the old block. I gotta say, I'm really proud of you. So
I
you
appreciate that.
you tell us how this Cleveland International record relaunch happened quickly. You can tell us.
Well, I mean, like you mentioned, after he passed away in 2011, I knew at some point in time, once the estate matters were over with, that, you know, I wanted to relaunch the label. You know, that was something he had always said Cleveland International Records was his calling card for life and something he wanted his kids and grandkids to remember him by. So, obviously, it's very important to me, and growing up with him and knowing how important that was for him, for me, it was a no-brainer. So.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Here we are.
How did you get hooked up with the Cerny Brothers?
Pretty
Since your
wild.
first
Pretty
sign?
wild. Yeah. So, kind of a crazy story. I'll try to make it as short as I can. So, about 8-9 months ago, I started working on my dad's documentary, and you know, I'm going through a lot of different things, you know, to collect for the documentary. And I came across a eulogy that Jim Steinman wrote, who wrote all the Meatloaf stuff, Bad Out of Hell, etc. And essentially, he said that, you know, my dad was the essence of Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through, which was a song that he wrote that was on Bad Out of Hell too. And it like clicked to me. I said, that's the working title for the documentary, Rock and Roll Dreams Come True, the story of Steve Popovich. So a couple months go by, I go to Washington, D.C., and reconnect with an old buddy of mine in Nashville who's a producer there in Nashville, a phenomenal producer. And I was telling him what I was doing with the label and the relaunch. He's like, well, I got this band called the Cerny Brothers. I'd love for you to check these guys out. I said, yeah, send them my way. So a couple weeks go by, you know, I'm in my car driving downtown, and you know, I pop the CD in, and I start listening to these guys. And first song was out, and I love it. It's like, okay, yeah, I think there's something here. These guys sound great. And then the second song came on, Days of Thunder, and when Bob started singing, it just something clicked. He, to me, sounded like Meatloaf, and I was like,
Interesting.
halfway through, I called the producer and I
I
said,
didn't
hey
hear
man,
that. I'm gonna have to
I got
listen
this
again.
idea. You know, I'm doing my dad's documentary. These guys are the perfect guys to recut that song for the documentary. So that's how things kind of snowballed, and then we got to know the guys, and you know, here we are.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Connections and old friends, right?
Amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Thank you, Steve. And Bob, come on up back to the mic. So let's talk about your album, which is pretty amazing. Bob and Scott, you're really brothers, the Cerny Brothers.
Yep. we're
Yeah,
Cerny Brothers.
I had some Cerny Brothers who painted my house here in Cleveland a few years ago.
Really?
No relation, but Cerny
We were thinking
is a
about-
Cleveland name.
We were thinking about starting a moving company at one point. There's a whole story to that, but so maybe they got there first.
We always get now, like people with the last name Cerny who reach out to us on Facebook, and they're like, "We're definitely related." We're like, sometimes they're like, "They look kind of."
We always say they come out to a show, and then by the end of the show, they're like, "We're definitely related." Yeah,
You're feeling out.
Ancestry.com. Yeah.
But this is such a great album, and it's your debut album on Cleveland International Records, and it's called Looking for the Good Land. It's got your pictures on the cover. Let me put it on the cover here, right here. Everybody buy it, and it's really, really good. So when I listen to this, and a lot of bands are putting out CDs because they're not being bought. It's all downloads. But for me, it's kind of cool listening to a CD in the car. And when I'm previewing music, it hit me immediately when I heard Looking for the Good Land. It's the hooks. You guys write catchy tunes, something you could grab onto and sing along with. And you got a big voice, Bob.
Well, I appreciate that. We do definitely, I mean, hooks are definitely part of, we always want our songs to be hooky, for lack of a better term. I mean, we do think like that. And that's just what comes out of us naturally, too.
So how did you guys start making music? I read, and it's very often wrong on the internet, that you were on a boat on the Mississippi River, and you both decided to become musicians. Is that true?
Yeah, no, that was pretty true. You know, we were just boating with our family, and Robert was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna start a band," and our dad was just like, "You boys are crazy," you know. Our dad is like, he went to West Point. He's an Army Ranger, a civil engineer, not really a musician at all. So he's just like, "Well, who's gonna play guitar?" And Robert's like, "Well, Scott's gonna play."
That's what I always say. I was the bigger brother, so I was like, I mean, I'll be the lead singer. I mean, I think that's just right at that time.
So we were just kids, and we just locked ourselves in our room. Once I got a guitar, and we started immediately recording, and we sold tapes to our friends for $5, and then eventually made CDs in high school. We probably made like 4 albums before we even got through
I think
college.
our dad loaned us, didn't he? He loaned us our first, I think it was like $1,000 or something to make some CDs.
First CDs.
And we
sold
paid them
in
back.
our high school, yeah. We
So
sold them to
good.
like almost everyone that we knew at high school. So like
Our high school was definitely saturated.
Did you have to shake them down, or were they willing?
people were more just like curious, Every once in a while, someone will be like, "I actually like that song," from way.
But then
back
it's
when.
like with anything. Once a good amount of people are doing it, you're in a small enough space. I mean, obviously on a national stage, it's a lot harder, but it's still, I think, the same concept. Enough people like had these things walking around, whether it was a cassette or a CD, and then everyone's like, "Okay,
we had a buzz going.
what's that?" Yeah. So
Yeah, they spurred you on.
yeah.
So Scott is the guitarist in the band and kick drum, and you're on the banjo, Bob. How many other people in the band?
Well, so right now what we do is it's just me and Scotty, and we kind of create a full band sound
You sure
with
do.
just 2 of us. And if you come out and see us at the Cleveland International relaunch party, we've got like a piano on stage. I'll play piano and a foot crash. Scotty plays basically an entire drum set just with his feet. He plays electric guitar, acoustic guitar. So it's a big kind of thing.
Did you study music in college?
I did, yes. Yeah.
Because you're naturally gifted then. Scott, I'm looking at you.
I didn't say that. It's
All right. Well,
He taught himself to play guitar at like 13, so.
it's amazing. Coming from somebody who would love to play any instrument, but I just have such difficulty learning. All right. So from the CD, we're going to play the first single that we've been playing. This is Looking for the Good Land, and you're going to play I Want to Love You, the Cerny Brothers on oWOW.radio.
1, 2, 3, 4. Drive around and the rain is falling and the streets are glowing with light. It's 2 a.m. and the bars are closing, but we're still out looking for the night.
to stop it, and it fills me with nothing but gloom. And I don't want you to see me as something that you can lose. I fell in love when I met you, and I swear that ain't nothing but true. I kiss you bye, but you don't wanna feel it, 'cause you don't know when you'll see me again. 'Cause in an hour I'll be gliding down the freeway past the mountains and missing your head. I wanna love you, I wanna love you. Ooh, yeah.
Fantastic! Wow, thank you. That was excellent. The Cerny Brothers on oWOW, everybody. That was enormous. I don't think this room has ever had a sound that big before, but you guys really brought it. That was
Well, gosh,
incredible.
thanks for having us on here.
My
This is awesome.
goodness. And you were backed off from that mic, and I was concerned we would be able to hear you, but you studied projection as well.
Well, it's kind of,
That
it's
sounds so
I did, and then Scotty sometimes on some recordings, I'm like, yeah, I think Scott, he might be projecting louder than me at some point, so I'm kind of like,
Well, we've played a lot of house concerts too, so
Yeah.
we've sometimes we have to, like, we'll play in front
Yeah.
of 60 people in like a big room. It's like you gotta
project a little bit more than a microphone, that's for sure.
So you were unmiked when you're doing that, or you have mics?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
no mics usually, and
That's amazing. That's a lot of strain on your vocal cords,
It's-
isn't it?
especially when
It's
you
harder,
when
yeah.
you party after for like 3
Yeah,
Well,
hours.
charge
they want
double,
you- yeah,
dudes. That's amazing. So where'd you grow up in Illinois?
We grew up in Sherrard, Illinois. It's kind of like a small little 700, 800 person town. We technically grew up in the town over called Fire Lake, but it's trivialities. It doesn't really
I
matter.
thought you grew up closer to Rockford. No.
It's
Do
not
you
too
know who
close to Rockford.
Do you know who Lissy is?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I thought maybe you were in her.
Rock Island is where she's
Oh,
from.
Rock
Yeah, so
Island,
she's
yeah.
which
Right
is that's
there,
like
that's
30 minutes away from where we grew up. It's so that's
We're
where we would
also
go into town.
very
like
close to where Margot Price is from, like that
Oh.
whole area. Yeah,
Oh, Margot Price.
Alito.
yeah, they were a rival high school.
What's in the water there?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Cornfields and boredom, probably.
Oh, I highly doubt that. So where was college for you guys?
We both went to Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, so
Wow.
pretty close to Chicago.
You brothers are so tight.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just sleep in the same room now.
But for a while, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So you just had this groove together playing, and it meshed, it melded, and do you ever fight?
Yeah, I mean, we get along a lot more than we fight, but we've had some pretty nasty brawls, yeah.
Typical brothers.
Yeah. and,
I
you
have
know,
nephews, that's why I'm asking, and they're best friends, but they've had their squabbles.
It was always interesting because we always played with other musicians and we would fight with them sometimes, but when they would see us fight like in the band practice, it would be like, they'd be like, whoa, dude, there was some level of, it's like you're fighting with family, like some deep level of like division that like.
And then we would say, well, what do you guys think? And they would just hands up like, I don't know,
Not
kind
getting
of
in the
back
middle
off.
of that, yeah.
So maybe that's the secret to getting what you want, huh?
Well, it's also just about like when you really truly know someone, like yeah, you can fight, but at the end of the day, they're still gonna be there. They're not like flaky.
There's a deep love.
Yeah.
So you moved from your hometown in Illinois to Los Angeles. I know you've spent some time there.
Yep, we spent 5 years in LA.
What were you doing there?
Drinking, no, just trying to. We were, basically just focusing on our careers. We were sort of into making movies at the time too. We make all our own music videos and kind of are super into that world. And
Scotty directs all of those, and we kind of had future aspirations. Still do really. It's Scott directing, and me kind of scoring moving picture and stuff like that.
And basically, we started doing music and movies, and we were kind of like, man, it's hard enough to do one of them, and we just focused more on music. And then, you know, it's hard to tour from California, being so far out there. And you know, our people were kind of, most of our fans were in the Midwest. We realized, like, we would play here, we play in Ohio, we play in Illinois, we play in Michigan, and like something would just happen there that didn't happen in California. And so we're like, maybe this is like our people. They understand our music. They understand where we're coming from more. Something about that.
Do people busk in LA?
Well, a lot of people have heard of 3rd Street, the promenade down by Santa Monica Pier, and it's
Yes.
a very touristy place. We lived about 2 miles up from there, and there's a bunch of street performers there, and not just music. I mean, anything from the strangest stuff you've probably seen, and that's very touristy. As far as other places that we've been to in LA, we didn't see a lot of real busking.
Is that where the label picked you up in Los Angeles? Your first label?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, or was it? Is that when we were?
Yeah.
They were based out of New York City. I can't even. I mean, it felt like years ago. I don't even remember, to be honest.
And then what brought you to Nashville?
That was kind of what my brother was saying, and just in the sense that it was hard to tour. We were farther away from home and like where our roots were, and where we really wanted to kind of water those seeds a little bit more of our music and stuff like that. So we felt a little like outcast out on the West Coast. So we thought we'd move more central, and you know, what better place than Nashville, where there's just music all over the place.
You know, we love California. We loved LA. I had a lot of fun there, but there's something about it that's very. It's almost like hard to like focus, because it's like everything is all around all the time, and especially coming from the Midwest, it's just hard to like wake up. It was hard for me to wake up in the morning and be like, okay, I'm gonna put in 8 hours a day, when you have like the ocean, you know, like you have
Distractions.
yeah and also just like it never rains. There's like something that's very not
There's a
real
song about that,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people in LA too that have these. Maybe it is the millennial generation. I don't know what that kind of. You know, it was always a question of like, I wonder what that guy does for a living. Like, what does he do? It's like he's just at the beach all day. He's just working out. And so there was a lot of like, and people would be like, hey man, you guys want to hang out? And we would have to turn down a lot of things. But so it's like we love LA, but
Wisely so, you turned it down. So you moved to Nashville, and Nashville is a great town, and it has exploded, because Nashville was a sleepy town, but you have the sound of the next generation of Nashville, because it's not country anymore. It's more than that. It's Americana, and really broadening pop. A lot of great artists coming out of Nashville. So you feel at home in Nashville, and what are the musicians like? Have you met a lot of musicians there? And the Bluebird Cafe and all that, the Ryman?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say a lot of the musicians in Nashville are just totally pro. I mean, they're just at the top of their game. I mean, look, there's good musicians and bad ones anywhere you go, and we're not, I won't be shy about saying that. Like, not every musician you come into contact with is at the top of their game, and but that's like anything. But I would say Nashville, even compared to LA, those are the two more cities that we've lived in. The stewardship and the musicality in Nashville is just
like the best
unmatched.
The best guitar players in the world are probably in Nashville. The best drummers. Like,
and a lot of them are very accessible.
Yeah, the studio guys. We were amazed by our producers making this record, and we're like, hey, do you know anyone that could play drums on this, and or play organ or whatever? And there's like 3 or 4 guys that are just will show up and do it.
That's really great. You don't find that everywhere. And what was that Cowboy Bob studio? What was the studio?
It's the Cowboy Jacks.
Cowboy Jacks.
What's it called? The recording.
Cowboy Arms Hotel and Recording Spa.
Yeah, Arms Hotel and Recording Spa. Yeah.
That's where you first recorded.
Yeah. Well, that's where we recorded our album in Nashville. Yeah.
Wow. So that's a storied place.
Yeah.
You feel the vibes when you're recording.
Well, yeah, and it's Cowboy Jack's wife was still living there. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was just this sweet old lady, and she just she was around, when we were recording, and she'd just be outside and just kind of wave and just kind of.
Yeah, and they would say that his ghost like haunted the place a little bit, like, and we did notice some strange stuff, like upstairs there'd be like a door that would like close randomly, but
Then it was like Nathan in the bathroom or something.
Might have just been the wind or something.
So
But
that's
yeah, it
where
was.
This album was recorded? looking
Yeah.
for the good line?
It was really cool just to, you'd see pictures on the wall of like Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard hanging out in the room that you're recording in. You're like, whoa, they're like actually there. It's
Here
just-
I am.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, that's exciting. All right, what are you going to play next? Because I have a few favorites, but I'll let you guys decide on what you would like to play. Tell me.
So we're going to do a song called Night on the Town, and it kind of fits into what we were talking about just when we lived in LA. And we wrote this at the last year of our tenure there in Los Angeles, and it was kind of a song that we needed to transition from that place to Nashville because we were just kind of down on our luck. We weren't in the best place mentally, and for in a lot of those instances, me and Scotty, that's kind of why we write songs. I think if we ever self-inspect what we're doing and why we're doing this, is to kind of just like anyone, it's our way of kind of getting through hard times.
Well,
and
you're
making sense of
storytellers,
it.
that's for
So-
sure. And
Thank you.
with the catchy lyrics, it's, what it's all about. So it's the Cerny Brothers right now on oWOW.
Living out on the West Coast ain't bad when you're holding a drink in your hand. Life is fun, life is wild, life is great when you bury your head in the sand. I've been sitting around my own place, just waiting for the hammer to fall. Don't wanna waste my life whining like I'm owed anything at all. So let's have a night on the town, and I'll spend all my money on you. 'Cause I've been betting my coins and smoking my beers on dreams that are now turning blue. If my heart is a bedroom, you're sleeping there, I don't care where you've been. You can hang up your pictures and tell me your fears, I don't want you to pretend. It's so bad to tell you the truth, but I don't think that you'll understand. I'm not hiding anything from you, Lord. Please don't let go of my hand. So let's have a night on the town, and I'll spend all my money on you. 'Cause I've been betting my coins and smoking my beers, dreaming now turning blue. At the end of the night, when I lay down, you're all that's left in my head. Home is a place where you go to when all other places are dead. So let's have a night on the town, and I'll spend all my money on you. 'Cause I've been betting my coins and smoking my beers on dreams that are now turning blue. At the end of the night, when I lay down, you're all that's left in my head. 'Cause home is a place where you go to when all other places are dead. 'Cause home is a place where you go to when all other places are dead. 'Cause home is a place where you go to when all other places are dead. Home is a place where you go to when all other places are dead.
My goodness, that was fantastic. Whoa,
Thank you.
a very poignant tune on Oh Wow, the Cerny Brothers. That was just great. And you can hear the hooks in that song. That's another one. Great lyrics, man. You guys are going to do so well in Nashville because you certainly will have people who want to buy that music. That's for sure. You're great songwriters.
Oh, thank you so
And
much.
you do it together?
Yep.
For the most part, yeah. As Scotty sometimes says too, you know, as we've gotten older, we don't live in the same place. That was actually, you know, when we grew up, we were usually, you know, we'd sleep in the same room or we'd always be together, so we were writing together constantly. As we got older, we would sometimes write a lot more separately, but still we would always convene. I mean, even, not rare, but sometimes we'll come with a song, one to the other, and, you know, we're both like, oh, that's perfect, we don't want to change anything.
FaceTime, right? You could do, if
Oh,
you're in separate
Oh,
cities.
yeah, for a second I was like, FaceTime, I was like,
We, you know, we talk to some songwriters and they write just like thousands of songs in a year, and we're just not really like that.
Yeah,
we
we
like
do that.
we write mostly when we're inspired, and it's not like we don't sit down. I'm trying to write like a hit song or
Yeah,
something. You
it's
know,
the
like,
tonnage and
it comes when
yeah.
it comes, and the best stuff for us at least comes, and it's like I don't know where it comes from
well,
or
it's
why
great.
it comes.
I
but-
love it, and everybody's going to love it tomorrow night. Now, you just played the Ryman. I mentioned the Ryman Auditorium in
Yeah.
Nashville, a storied venue, which is huge that you guys were asked to play there. That's unbelievable.
yeah, that was a really fun night.
That's another vibey room, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
That's great. Well, you're just terrific, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow night on stage in the big room at the Beachland Ballroom. And it's the Cleveland International Record Label Relaunch Concert. This is the first, so it's going to be fun, and you're going to be joined by label mates The Boys, Dirty Dan and The Boys, and Joe Grishecki and the House Rockers, who are just phenomenal
Yeah, I
as
heard
well.
a lot
So
about them. Yeah.
He's
Excited.
these are all really great people and excellent musicians. So it'll be fun. Maybe there'll be a little jam too.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night, Beachland, 8 o'clock, and a dedication for Tri-C. And what is that dedication, Steve, with your dad at Tri-C for Tri-C?
Well,
tomorrow
we've
night? Get on the mic, babe.
for the last 6-7 years, we've been working towards putting a scholarship together with my father's name at Tri-C. So we have finally endowed the scholarship. So we're going to
Great.
do a little announcement on that
Short
tomorrow. So
short
excited about that. So
announcement
his
tomorrow.
legacy
That'll
will
be
live on
fun.
forever.
That'll be great, and people really appreciate it. And Steve Popovich has a big name in Cleveland and around the world. And we're really psyched that you guys are here.
Yeah, we're just really, really enthralled and excited too that, you know, just to be with Cleveland International, and because we waited on this record for a long time to try to find a home, so it was, and then it started kind of in a sense with Meatloaf, and now here we are in Cleveland too, where, you know, we played in Cleveland before, but this feels a little bit different, you know, meeting Steve out in the parking lot, and obviously we're doing business in Nashville and stuff, but it just feels really cool,
Have
and
you
we're
been to the
excited about
Rock
the show
Hall yet?
tomorrow. We haven't.
Tomorrow morning.
We will. Yeah, tomorrow morning. I mean, the last time we did was on a marching band trip. I think it was a while back.
Oh,
So it'll be nice to see it older as adults.
As musicians, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun trip. Well, we'll see you tomorrow night at the Beachland. Thank you so much for being on oWOW Radio, the Cerny Brothers, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Beachland.